Are PlayStation Plus and Game Pass worth it in 2023? At what point does a subscription service stop being worth its monthly fee? X Games with Gold. It's no secret the price of PlayStation Plus has risen substantially. Just this past month, all three of the subscription service tiers saw a 30% cost increase, with the highest tier now costing $160 every year. But Sony isn't the only company raising rates. Earlier this year, Microsoft increased the cost of its Game Pass membership, raising its $10 monthly subscription to $11 and its $15 tier to $17. We live in a world where there are an abundance of subscription services in both the gaming space and layout. And while many of these services have offered valuable benefits and features, that may not be the case now. Dr. Games 101 will probably have a lot to say about this.
Oh,
More
yeah.
specifically, what you're getting may not be what you're paying for, so it's time for us to ask, are subscription services worth it? And if so, which ones offer the greatest value? On this episode of Spot On, Lucy and Timur ask themselves that question and discuss whether the value proposition is still there for the various gaming subscription services. I didn't know this was going to be a video. Spot On is a weekly news show airing Fridays in which GameSpot's managing editor Timur Hussein and senior producer Lucy James talk about the latest news in games. That's our shtick. Given the highly dynamic and never-ending news cycle of the massive video game industry, there's always something to talk about. But unlike most other news shows, Spot On will dive deep into a single topic as opposed to recapping all the news. Spot On airs each Friday. How long was this episode of Spot On? Let me see. We're probably not going to watch it. I just want to know how long this topic is going to be. I mean, we'll probably have to just give our feelings on Game Pass.
Yeah,
It's a 10-minute video.
I do. It has to be at
But
least
are
10
they
minutes,
still
15 minutes.
worth paying for?
Hold on.
Let's talk about it.
So, do you want to play the video or no?
No, we'll wait until next week. We'll get a better review of that. Or
Okay.
like,
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll just give you our opinion. It's really Game Pass being so much. I think it's honest. It's honestly, I've been feeling like once the games become affordable, whether they're like $5, $10, $15, it's more affordable to pay that price one time and get the game than it is to keep paying that service monthly. So I don't think it's worth it. Dr. Games 101, do you feel the same way or differently?
personally, myself, I never wanted to spend money a lot after buying the game itself, especially comes down to online playability, meaning that if I paid $500, $600 for the console, about $300, $200 for the accessories, $200 worth of games, and then I had to buy the internet connection through my ISP and all. That's about what an easy $1,000 right there easily. And I expect to be playing it online at least that for free. But the Game Pass personally is something where it's an outlet to where you can save some kind of money over the next several years, depending on how much you play of these games in the library. Personally, myself, I never focused in too much on the Game Pass since I got the Game Pass back in 2017, 2018. And up until now, this year of September, the only time I played a Game Pass games with Yakuza, Zero, Crash Bandicoot, maybe. If it ever was on the Game Pass, that is. There's also other independent games that came out for it too on the Game Pass as well to get it for free. So it's kind of like, after a while, I was like, do you really have the time in the world to play all these games within a year, 2 years lifespan of your time with your money that you have? So I guess you say, in other words, it's good for younger gamers to have the Game Pass. For us older gamers, I think we should just buy our games at full price per game, or get discounted through our member pass or gold membership pass, which we do get as a gold member. You get like discounts on certain games every month, depending upon what's on your wish list, especially. Then those are the ones that really help out a lot. Add to your wish list, and then it'll be on sale through your Xbox guide button as a notification. So that helps out a lot. Since I don't have gold and as well as Game Pass, it's whatever on my part because I focus too much on certain couple of games. Like Devil May Cry 5, Apex Legends, Crash Bandicoot Trilogy, the Reignition Trilogy that's called, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of like, I'm willing to buy my games rather than just get a subscription on the matter. So that because when I buy a full price game or a discounted game, I own that game by default, no matter what the company says. Yes, they have their terms of service tell you that, oh, you don't really own the game if you buy it digitally, whatever. But I think by law, our consumer laws here in the United States, we have a right to own our own games and we pay for it in full. If it's rented, it's one thing, like Game Pass, whatever. That I can understand. So more kudos to the company like that with those policies. But if you bought it with your full fledged money that you earned, whether especially if you earned it at like a full time job or you got tax bracket back taxes on it, whatever it's called, shit like that. So I don't know what to say about these companies these days. Because if it wasn't for Microsoft started that monthly membership of like Xbox Gold to play online, I don't think we wouldn't be having this problem to this day about what's to play online or not. But when it comes out to Game Pass themselves, it's like another class of itself, another format of how to play the games yourself. So it's iffy, I have to say, to what's good or bad in the Game Pass to spend money every month and every year for. So that's my opinion.
But forget affordability. Is it worth what you get? In your opinion, is it worth what you're getting every month to pay to pay for the service every month rather than just buy the games?
I'd rather just buy the games by themselves, not thinking to pay for the Game Pass. All
Yeah,
of that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Game Pass is good to try out. Like, if you don't know any games that are coming out and you want to play, different games to see if you'll like it at first, maybe Game Pass is good to have for a month or two or three or whatever. But I mean, like I said, if you're just playing the same few games over and over, and especially if they're a few years old already, you'd probably save more money in the long run if you just bought the games, especially off eBay or something.
Definitely, if it's a physical game, especially.
Yeah, like I said, Yakuza Like a Dragon is I've seen it go for $10 disc only. So it's like, why would I continue to pay $15 or $17 every month to Game Pass to play that game?
Especially if you're an older gamer, because the older you are, the more like you have less time to play games on a constant basis. For example, if I was like if I was like 16 years old and PS2 was an online service like an Xbox One, a PS4 and all, I would rather get the Game Pass for that PS2 than such thing back then. Because I could play episodes I want anytime I want. And within like not even 6 months, I spent like 6 months with a Game Pass. That's about what? Not even 150, $200 in games like this. I spent it in more than that amount if I get as an old adult gamer.
Now it's 100. Now, not counting tax, 6 months of Game Pass would be if you paid $17 a month. That's like $102 every 6 months.
Yep.
Before tax.
Oh yeah.
So and then add another what, $1, I guess, every month in terms of tax. No, not $1, but maybe like 50 cents every month. So that's, I mean, just for me, it really depends what you're doing with Game Pass. It's really not worth it if, to play the games I was playing. I could buy Bejeweled 3 digitally. I could buy, um, like I said, I could buy Yakuza Like a Dragon. I could buy, a lot of the game. I could buy Doom. If I don't want to get it for Xbox One, I can get the BFG edition of Doom 3, which had all three Dooms all at once. So it's kind of like the games that I was playing. Um, they're not that expensive to buy, especially since they're old.
Yeah.
So I don't, unless, and also I know it's so. Just looking at the price, it's really not worth it because how many games are there that are released on day one that you would have to pay $60-$70 for that are worth playing?
Yeah.
I mean, look at what Microsoft was banking on with Starfield and Redfall. Need I say more?
Oh yeah. And Gears 5, don't get me wrong, it's still a game to play, but after a certain part of the game itself, you get bored of it, and the character Kate is not the main character you're looking at the most because you thought JD was supposed to be the new generation of Gears 1 characters to look at, but it's like, you're stuck in between a stasis where it's like, why do I have to continue to spend a game pass for Gears 5 or even buy a full ultimate edition of it for $100 or whatever? Let's just play it for about a few minute hours, and that's about it. Call it quits.
Well,
That's
you don't
it.
even have to do that. You just have to. I mean, you could just buy this cheaper service just to get online capabilities, which is like $11 a month. Because Gears Five, I'm sorry, the Gears games are really about the multiplayer. The campaign may be interesting to go through enough once, but after that, it's Gears games have their replayability and the multiplayer online. Um, that's what draws me back to Gears of War.
Oh yeah, definitely. I will admit that too. That is too. For me, it was the campaign itself. I want to continue playing on because I want to know more about the story of the origins of the locusts, the swarms, and stuff like that. But they draw it out too much in the ice levels, the snow levels and stuff like that. It was like, what the fuck, man? What am I doing there right now? So I gave up on that game.
Okay, well, I mean, it's not it. Yeah, it really doesn't. It's really more about the human interactions. It really doesn't go into a story of what the swarm is and everything. But, um, like I said, I have to admit, it's really the only story that really stuck out to me in Gears of War was Gears of War Judgment, because you could actually dictate how the story goes. Like if you felt the game was too easy, just activate the declassified missions, and that would raise the challenge of the current mission you were on. Um,
Yeah.
that was awesome. And just how the story was told, because like while you're playing through the mission, the characters that you control were actually on trial with their colonel as the judge. Like it kept switching between the missions, and like the cutscenes would be the trial. So I guess I just like how Gears of War Judgment told the story. Um,
I will admit that. Yeah, that was good.
But like I said, what after I finished the Gears of War 4 campaign, I never went back to it. I just wanted to do the multiplayer. But the multiplayer is fun. I could spend like an hour or two playing multiplayer. So,
Yeah, they made in Gears 5, when they had the promos during the Xbox conferences back in like 20 what? Was it 2014, 2015, 2016, give or take? They make Kate look like a fucking bitch. I mean,
okay.
I'm sorry if it sounds very direct and vulgar and disrespectful in that matter, but it's just that they made it look like it's not a Gears game. It just made it look like it's like a girls' night out, like for the girls only type of game, you know? Because when you think of Gears of War, you think of like violence, gore, war, aggression, the struggles, the heartbreaks, the headaches, the pain, the suffering. Then when you see Kate, you're like, oh God, what's wrong with this game? You know?
Okay, I've only was able, like I said, I kept getting kicked out back to the Xbox dashboard when I tried to play the Gears 5 campaign, so I can't comment.
Well, it was a promos, those trailers and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah, you
okay.
ever watch the Xbox conferences back on the Xbox One and YouTube and all? Because every year since 2010, they actually had the Xbox conference of E3 and all. And before E3 got shut down or E3 was irrelevant at the time. So